Hey guys, Be Natural here and welcome to my character guide for Encore. Today we'll be covering her playstyle, kit, gameplay, build, and team comp options. Whether you're trying to figure out how to play her or just trying to decide if you want to pull her, strap in because I've got something for everyone. This is my guide to Encore. Encore's playstyle swaps between a short to mid-range mage to a melee brawler and back and forth. Her main gameplay loop is build your gauge, cast your heavy attack, swap characters, and repeat. Once you have her ult, you become a melee demon that slams enemies with fast, hard-hitting combo attacks. Her pros are that she has strong single target damage, decent AoE, works well as a main or sub DPS, although she shines as a main. She has lasers, she's cute, can 2-cycle for ulti, and she's easy to play. Her cons are that her attack chain and skills have a long animation, so you'll get hit frequently. This can be somewhat remedied by learning enemy attack patterns and using more dodge counters to start your chains, but realistically, you'll be getting hit all the time, so get good doesn't really work here. Additionally, the nature of her kit requires her to be mostly melee, so she doesn't quite fill the class fantasy of a ranged mage if that's what you're looking for in a character. Okay, so let's start with her basic attacks. Her basic attack chain is a 5-part attack that ends with woolies dropping down like a bomb. Her heavy attack is a straight line projectile that explodes after about 12 encores or on contact. Her MidAir attack is a run-of-the-mill ground slam with 0 horizontal movement, and her dodge counter is the 3rd hit of the basic attack chain, which you can follow with left mouse button to finish the combo. Keep in mind that you can animation cancel the last hit of the basic attack chain by dodging or using her skill right when you see woolies appear in the sky. This is slightly faster than sitting through the end animation and will keep you slightly more mobile. Her skill is Flaming Woolies, which sends out her 2 summons to rapid-fire lasers at your enemies. When she glows white, you can press your skill again to fire a much larger laser. Alternatively, just spam your skill button so you don't have to worry about timing. The AoE of both parts is significantly larger than you'd expect from the visual, so it's not a bad option for AoEing targets that are grouped up. Encore's Forte Circuit, or her passive, is her Mayhem state. The bar above her health will fill up as you deal damage with her basic attacks, skills, and intro skill. Once full, using your heavy attack will give you a 70% damage reduction and perform Cloud Frenzy or Cosmos Rupture depending on whether or not you're in your ulti form. Cloud Frenzy is a slow charge up that eventually drops a massive woolly for big damage. When you're in your ultimate Cosmo Rave form, you'll perform a similar length charge up that does periodic damage while sucking in nearby enemies towards you, then finish with a similar style explosion around your character. Using Cosmos Rupture while you're in your ult will immediately cancel your ulti form, so make sure you only use it towards the end. Also, please note that this is meant to be used right before swapping, since the animation will continue even after you've swapped characters. So make sure you only use this as you're about to swap, because dry casting this is always a large DPS loss. Cosmos Rave is her Resonance Liberation or ultimate ability, and puts you in her demon state. In this form, her basic attack chain becomes a 4-part melee combo, her skill turns into an X projectile, and her heavy attack gains multi-hit and sucks in nearby enemies. It lasts for 10 seconds and is almost always played the same way. Upon entering your ult, you use your skill, then basic attack chain 2 times. Just as with our base form, dodge counters will start you from part 3 of the combo. After the second basic attack chain, you'll want to heavy attack to start Cosmos Rupture, then outro and swap to another character. Depending on timing and how much you needed to dodge, you may have to cancel your last VA chain early to get the empowered heavy from your ulti form. Additionally, assuming you have full uptime and you have good ping and frames, you can get off a 3rd skill usage before having to use your heavy sometimes. This is pretty difficult in practice, but just wanted to throw this in there for you min-maxers. Her outro skill places a fire field under your next ally's intro skill that burns enemies and deals constant fire damage. And finally, Her intro skill is a simple single hit on swapping in. Her resonance chains, aka constellations or eidolons for you Genshin and Honkai players, mainly increase her raw damage output apart from her RC2, which gives her 10 extra energy whenever Woolies deals damage, with an internal cooldown of 10 seconds. With good substat rolls, and if there's a support in the future that gives your team energy recharge, it might be possible for her to one-cycle her ulti, but to be honest, I think that'd be pretty unlikely unless you have God RNG or you sacrifice a lot of damage in the way of stats. Finally, let's cover how to build her. Please keep in mind that the game is in a very early state, so this comes from my limited experience playing and some theory crafting, so focus more on the whys rather than the whats, so that you can make your own decisions in the future as we get more weapons and more team options. Also, I'm currently a free-to-play player, so my thought processes and statements may occasionally lean more towards long-term value over immediate strength. Encore is primarily a DPSer, so you'll want to use offensive-focused rectifiers. The best rectifiers that she can use for quite some time is likely to be Stringmaster, which is Yinlin's banner weapon. That's most likely the next banner. With a crit rate baseline and the ability to double stack the weapon's attack buff with her 2-stage skill, this is the best weapon for her by a large margin. Nothing even comes close of the currently known weapons. For weapons currently in the game, Cosmic Ripples performs the best, but Augment and Jinsoul Keeper are not too far behind. Since Cosmic Ripples and Jinsoul Keeper don't offer crit chance, you'll likely need to take that as your main stat line for your 4-star Echo. If you're using Augment or Stringmaster in the future, depending on your substat rolls, you'll be able to take crit damage. Finally, if you don't have any of the other options, Rectifier of Night is the go-to 3-star weapon for her. Once the weapon is rank 5, which means it's been combined with 5 other copies, it'll perform fine until you get a replacement. Jinsoul Keeper can be obtained from the Rangers series weapon supply chest that we got from something, but personally I'd recommend using the RON until you get your hands on one of the other 3, especially since the other one-handed sword from the gift is an amazing get for people that can use it. For her echoes, I recommend using the full Molten Rift set for the set effect. Early on, with 10 cost cap, that usually ends up being a 4 cost main echo, followed by a 3 and 3 1 costs. Later on, with a 12 cap, you can replace the 1 cost with a 3 cost if you find a good one. Your main echo should be an Inferno Rider with crit rate or damage as the main stat. For your sub echoes, look for fusion damage on your 3 costs and attack percentage on your 1 costs. Early on, focus on completing the 5 set bonus so that you can get the set effect, as this will outweigh most of what you'll find on lower rarity echoes. Later on, start farming for purple quality or higher Inferno Rider with crit. Remember, you can farm echoes without spending your wave plates, so get to farming. Also, unlike Genshin and Star Rail, even if you roll crit rate or damage on your primary, you can roll it again as a substat, meaning your ideal echo will have 3 crit lines. Encore's ideal team comp is generally her as the main DPS, a sub DPSer, and a support. Ideal sub DPS characters are Sanhua or Mortefi for damage. Sanhua is the more common pick as her outro skill offers basic attack damage deepen and increases Encore's highest damage percent skill, which is her auto attacks. But Mortefi buffs her heavy attack swap, which you do use, and also offers extra damage with his coordinated attacks. It's too early for me to make a sweeping statement on which is better, but definitely consider trying both of them out. For the support slot, there are really only 2 options currently in Verena and Baizi, and with the former being the embodiment of I can do anything you can do better. If you have her, you should use Verena. And that's a wrap. Encore is an awesome main DPS with excellent cleave and is relatively easy to build around with the currently available 4-star units. She's easy to play with your brain off, but also rewards you for being more mechanical, making her one of the, if not the best DPS character of the standard banner. If you have any questions or suggestions for videos or content you'd like to see in the future, leave it down below and let me know so that I can get to work. May RNGesus bless you and have fun, Wanderers.